What is the fastest way you have seen someone ruin their life? Part 2. A guy I knew had it pretty good, married, had a kid, and a little cookie-cutter house. Despite having only a GED, he excelled in niche construction work and was doing well. However, he got trashed, started making his own fireworks in the backyard, and blew both of his hands off up to the elbow. He lost his job, owed a ton in medical bills, started drinking more. His wife and kids split. He had to sell the house and move a couple of states away to have his elderly parents take care of him, all within 6 months. A guy wiped out on the road in front of me on his motorbike. His chin got caught on the metal rung used as a step at the back of a truck in front of him. I had never seen someone literally lose their head until that moment, and I hope I never see it again. My grandparents live just off a really busy state highway with a 55 miles per hour speed limit. One day, my grandma was waiting to turn left when a woman on the other side of the intersection pulled out in front of a semi and got killed. She saw the woman's face when she realized what was about to happen and could clearly see her expression at the moment of impact. My grandma said every time she closed her eyes for a month or more afterward, she saw that scene. She dreamed about it. She definitely needed counseling, but is of a generation where getting psychiatric help is taboo, so she never did. I can't imagine. A patient of mine when I was a student nurse, 19 years old, male, dove headfirst into an unfamiliar body of water, becoming an instant C3-C4 quadriplegic. I was assigned to him for an entire rotation on the rehab floor. His girlfriend came every evening for a few days, then skipped a day, then skipped a couple more, and didn't come again for the rest of the time I was assigned to him. He was heartbroken, but she was younger than him, and she looked very upset and scared whenever she was there. We had to clean him up after bowel movements, sometimes needing an enema to even have one. One day, we were cleaning him, holding him over on his side so we could do it, and he broke down sobbing. It was so terrible. Over the years, I've wondered what happened to him. I wish I had made a note of his name so I could have followed up. Maybe it didn't ruin his life. Look at Christopher Reeve. There's a good chance it did, though. When I was around this age, I did something stupid and similar just because I was this age and a stupid little shit. I dove into a pool headfirst, even though there were signs saying not to dive. I did it exaggeratedly, straight down, because I was a stupid little shit and to taunt a family member. I hit my head on the bottom of the pool and my shoulder. As soon as it happened, I thought I had just paralyzed myself. I still remember the fear that shot through me. I was fine, but it was nothing more than dumb luck. I think about it sometimes as it could have gone so much worse, and it was such a stupid thing to do. I can't imagine what this guy went through. He would have drowned had his friends not been quick to pull him out. I often thought they didn't do him a favor, but of course, any of us would have done the same thing. This happened in 1982, by the way. He'd be 60 now if he made it. All these years later, I still think of him. My cousin, a big bodybuilder type, he used to work as a bouncer. He had a wife and daughter, then his dad died and he went down the rabbit hole of drugs. He lost his marriage, was not allowed to see his daughter anymore. His ex-wife got a new boyfriend that raped his daughter. When he finally got clean, he was a thin, pale ghost of his former self. I knew a guy from school who had a somewhat similar trajectory. He had fallen into hard drugs but managed to get clean. Unfortunately, his dad died, and he relapsed hard. Some mafia or gang got him to do some dirty work for them and then immediately used him as a scapegoat, denying any official ties to him. At least in prison, he got clean cold turkey, and he recently got out, doing well now. He was always a good kid, and I'm glad his friends haven't forgotten about him and are trying to help him.
My middle school principal. He had a wife, kids, and a house. He lost it all when he was caught trying to pay a 15-year-old for sex that turned out to be an undercover officer. He got charged and was put on probation for 3 years, lost his job, most likely won't ever see his wife or kids again, and I doubt any place will hire him.
This isn't like a single instance where a person messed up their whole life in one go, but I was there for the domino that brought down the whole house. I was working at a gas station. A lady wanted cigarettes but didn't have her ID. I refused to make the sale. She got upset, got angry, and stole a banana. Since the police frequently visited the store, the only one open 24 hours in town, a cop witnessed her taking the banana after her outburst and promptly stopped her in the parking lot before she could leave. Initially, he was just going to have her return the banana as a petty way to address her behavior over the cigarette situation. 5 minutes later, he still had her stopped, and 2 more squad cars rolled up with their lights on. Turns out, the lady had 8 warrants in 3 states for various drug and theft charges. She got taken in, ostensibly extradited to the other states for charges, and ended up in court over a pack of Swisher Sweets and a banana. This reminds me of that video of a guy who called the cops on a McDonald's for serving him cold fries. Turns out the guy had an arrest warrant and tried to run as soon as the police caught on. I can't even comprehend what goes through the head of someone like that. Just fundamentally stupid, broken people. A smart, type A student who was on the path to medical school began abusing Adderall to cope with the workload. Unfortunately, this escalated into a cocaine addiction, then methamphetamine use, ultimately leading to her untimely death. She was a wonderful person before succumbing to the challenges of addiction. The pressure on smart kids is insane. I was consistently the smartest kid in all my classes up until high school. However, it's important to note that I didn't attend very good schools. I am indeed intelligent, certainly not stupid, but I never considered myself a genius or prodigy. Due to being the brightest among my siblings and peers, there was always this assumption that I'd be off doing genius-level things. The reality is, I'm just a bit above average and grasp concepts fairly quickly. The pressure for people to expect you to become a rocket scientist or something similar can be overwhelming. The best thing I ever did in life was realizing that as long as I was happy and capable of supporting myself, it truly didn't matter what others expected me to achieve. I still pursued a degree, but in a field I was passionate about, and now I have a fulfilling career. I might not be a genius, but I get by, and that's more than enough.
A friend of mine became a manager at her workplace, leading to her work friend becoming her employee. The catch was, the guy was older than her by about 15 years and had developed an unhealthy obsession with her, unbeknownst to her. She had a close relationship with his family, playing the role of an auntie to his kids, and even regularly having brunch with his wife. At one point, he managed to get hold of her keys while she was working, and he secretly made a copy of her house key. He patiently waited for years, seizing the opportunity to break into her house while she was away on holiday. Unfortunately for him, a vigilant neighbor spotted him and promptly called her. This ordeal caused a drastic change in his life. He went from being married with a happy family and a stable government job to ending up divorced and unemployed. In the divorce proceedings, he lost his house and custody of his children, and now he resides in a one-bedroom apartment in another town.
Best friend from high school got busted for child molestation. His wife was babysitting the 3-year-old girl. He started out as a patrol officer for the sheriff's department and after 20 years worked his way up to internal affairs. He got fired, his wife left and took their daughter with her, and he served some jail time. I looked him up on the sex offenders website. He was a really handsome guy in high school. Now he has gained about 75 pounds, grew a necktie goatee, and has a dead look in his eyes. A guy with a 6-figure IT job decided to steal a $600 laptop, despite knowing that all laptops were equipped with a LoJack system. After waiting a month, he booted it up on his home network, and the laptop promptly sent us his IP address and network name, which happened to be his last name. When confronted by our boss, he confessed and was subsequently fired. Strangely, this wasn't even the most absurd part of the story. He was the second person in our IT department to steal a laptop and get caught, and he was well aware of the first case. It's been years, and I still can't wrap my head around it. As a humorous twist, during the final interview with his replacement, the team conducted a group interview, with each member asking a question. When it was my turn, I asked, "Do you ever get the urge to just steal stuff?" The entire team burst into laughter. The boss didn't find it as amusing, but everything worked out fine. The new guy had a great sense of humor. And well, friends, that was all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, let me know with a thumbs up so that YouTube can share these stories with more people. Remember to hit the bell icon to be the first to know when we upload a new video. See you next time.